Saving as PDF, presented by the Idaho Digital Accessibility Consortium. Now we have a finished document. Our header has our logo with alternative text description and a prominent title for our form. We've outlined the content using the outline tool to apply those heading tags, so we've organized and structured our document. We've also applied appropriate space to leave enough space for us to add those appropriate text fields in Adobe using the Prepare Form tools. So our small text fields have enough space after for a small text field. Our large text fields have enough space after the question to draw a large text field. We've adjusted the spacing and alignment for our multiple choice text fields so we can draw in a checkbox in Adobe. And we've also added a footer with our page number since our content goes across 2 pages. Now we are ready to save this document as a PDF. Before we do that, there's one final step you should always do for any document you're working on, and that is to do an accessibility check in Microsoft Word. Even though we've done everything right up to this point, doing that accessibility check is really important because it can catch anything we may have forgotten. For example, you may not have added alternative text to your image. Doing an accessibility check at the end highlights that and allows you to fix that issue before you save it as a PDF. To check accessibility, you go to File, Info, Inspect Document, and check for issues, check accessibility. And an accessibility inspection results panel will open on your screen. It will highlight any errors or any warnings that you need to keep in mind. Any errors, if you've added any kind of an image to your document and you don't have alternative text, it's going to show up as a missing alternative text. And you remember we added our alternative text to our logo. If we hadn't at that point, we could fix it now. But there's a couple other images, straight arrow connector 7, straight arrow connector 1. If we don't know what that is, we can click on the option and it will highlight it in the document. So it is this straight connector in our footer. To fix the item, select the little drop-down box for recommended actions. We can add a description or we can mark as decorative. This really doesn't need a description. It purely is a decorative element. So we can mark that as decorative. And with our straight arrow connector 1, that's the page number, the bracket around the page number 1, we can also mark that as decorative. Another common error for Microsoft Word, image or object is not in line. And if you remember, we text wrapped our logo, and probably those images in the footer also have some text wrapping. If you are sharing this as a Microsoft Word document, any image has to be in line with the text. Otherwise, it may be hidden for screen reader users. Since we are not sharing this as a Word document, we are sharing this as a PDF document. We can ignore this particular error because the PDF tags that we add to the document allow us to bring that image and that content so that it's discoverable by a screen reader user. So we can ignore this particular error. Now that we've checked accessibility, we can save as PDF. There is the right way to save as PDF and there is the wrong way to save as PDF. The wrong way to save as a PDF is to print as a PDF. So what you don't want to do is File, Print, Microsoft Print to PDF. That is going, or Adobe PDF. That might mess up all the work you've done for your document to this point. The right way is to save as a PDF. And if you have the Acrobat plugin in your ribbon, you can select Create PDF and it will save Adobe PDF file as and your file. So that's available as an additional plugin for Microsoft Word. The other ways to save it is to go File, Save As, and then you change your file type to PDF. If you have the Adobe plugin installed, you can also have a shortcut to save as Adobe PDF. So you can either use the Adobe plugin to create PDF, you can do File, Save As, and change the Save As type to PDF, or you can use the Save As PDF quick link. So however you save it as a PDF, once you click OK, it's going to save your document as a PDF and it will open in Adobe Acrobat Pro. Or you may have, I have mine set to automatically open in Adobe Acrobat Pro. If yours doesn't, you can go find that document where you saved it and open it in Adobe Pro. Now, if we look at, remember we used all the styles in Microsoft Word. If we look at the tag tree, all of our tags came forward. So our heading 1 is tagged as a heading 1. Our paragraph text is tagged as paragraph text. Our links are tagged as links. Our heading 2 is tagged as a heading 2, and all of this structure came over in our document because we used those styles in Microsoft Word. We did an accessibility check to make sure everything was correct, and then we saved it as a PDF. For comparison, let's look at what print to PDF looks like. Now I'm back in my document. This is the exact same Word document. All of our style tags are there. All of our spacing is there. The only difference is I'm going to print as PDF. So I'm going to select File, Print, Microsoft Print to PDF, Print, and in the Save Print Output As, I'm going to name this my test print page and save. Now when I switch over to Adobe, this is our accessible form that has all of our tags. If I open our test print page, it looks identical. The formatting is still there, but the difference is if I pull up the tag tree, no tags available. So printing as PDF doesn't preserve any of the work that I did in Microsoft Word, and now I'm going to have to tag this document using Adobe PDF, where if I save as PDF, all that work that I did with those styles comes over and I don't have to do a whole lot extra to make this document an accessible PDF. So definitely save as PDF. Do not print as PDF.